Rebuy tournament. Mike, thanks for being here today.
My pleasure.
So tell me, how does strategy differ when you're in a tournament where you are able to buy back in if you bust?
Well, obviously you're going to be able to play a little bit looser in the tournament at the beginning because you kind of have a safety net there. So a lot of times you're going to open up, call different hands that you wouldn't have called if you had a finite amount of chips.
So how do you keep yourself from getting too loose in a Rebuy tournament? Where's the balance?
Well, for me, a lot of times I'll just try to take advantage of the people that are playing a little bit too much over the edge.
All right.
Open up my starting requirements against them where against their range, I'm still a favorite. And then after the flop, so many people are just shoving with draws that a lot of times, top pair, any kicker is a profitable hand early in the tournament.
Well, if you do bust out of a Rebuy tournament, you choose the Rebuy and bust again. How many times, when is enough? When should you call it quits?
Well, that's a very good question, and it really varies for a lot of people. But as long as you feel that you have an edge in the tournament and you have the ability to rebuy, I feel as though you should keep going. Unless you come to the table and you're not necessarily playing your A game, maybe you're playing your C or your D game, and at that point in time, you may want to limit yourself to rebuying 3 or 4 times and then calling it a day. I mean, tomorrow's another day, and you may be playing better then.
So what changes should you implement as you near the end of the Rebuy period?
Well, a lot of times towards the end of the rebuy period, a lot of the short stacks are going to start moving all their chips into the middle because they either want to accumulate some chips and then be able to add on and have some sort of a normal average stack as opposed to just being short the whole period. So a lot of times at that point in time, I'll start getting even more aggressive with marginal hands such as ace-queen or medium pocket pairs.
Because the players are looking to rebuy at that point?
They're either looking to rebuy or double up. So at that point in time, I'm willing to gamble a little bit more with it.
So would you say in general the players are a bit more aggressive? Aggressive play is rewarded in Rebuy tournaments?
Oh, absolutely. People are aggressive. They want to get a lot of chips on their table so that once the rebuy period is over, they're playing at a table where there's a significant advantage over the other tables where maybe there wasn't as much rebuying. And professionals, a lot of times they'll play super loose early on in the rebuy period to stimulate that action. And then try to get everybody else into that gambling mind frame.
Well, I know a lot of Rebuy tournaments also offer an add-on at the end of the rebuy period. Should you always take the add-on or purchase the add-on? Or if you have enough chips, is there ever a right time to just not even take it?
Well, I mean, certain players, they always like getting the add-on. My personal feeling on the subject is I like to add on if it'll add 20 or more % to my stack. If it's less than that, I feel as though I already have enough chips. Exactly, and there's no need to spend that excess money on chips that aren't really going to affect my chip stack all that much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, albeit though, those chips could be valuable, but that's more of a personal preference, I think.
What do you think is the biggest mistake that amateur players make when they play Rebuy tournaments, or novices?
A lot of novices, I feel as though they do play too tight. A lot of amateur players, they're going to come in, they're only going to play for one buy-in, which is a mistake in the first place because it is a specialty tournament. It's a rebuy tournament.
So if you only have one buy-in, you probably shouldn't try and play a Rebuy tournament?
Exactly. You should go play a tournament where the structure and the players and the way people are playing is going to be more conducive to you doing well. Whereas if you're playing in a rebuy tournament, you're only going to come in for one buy-in, you're already playing at a major disadvantage because people can pick on you. They know that, sometimes people will even say it at the table, I'm only playing this, and now people are taking shots at them with, who knows what.
Well, how can you gauge that? If you're at a table and you look around at the other 9 players, can you really figure out who doesn't want to rebuy?
A lot of times I'll just ask the table,
Oh, really?
People, for instance, at the World Series, they're very open about it, I'm spending $1,000 on this tournament. This is all I'm playing. And, online, obviously, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Rebuy tournaments are much more popular online. But, playing live, you can just simply ask the people. They'll tell you.
Well, how does strategy differ in an online Rebuy tournament from a live Rebuy tournament?
Well, in the online Rebuy tournaments, more often than not, there's a lot more pros in the Rebuy tournaments, making them much more difficult than just the standard $50, $100, $300 buy-in tournaments online. And, those players are experienced. They know the ranges of other players that play on a regular basis. And it's really hard to exploit people that are playing in those tournaments because most of them are regulars anyway.
That makes sense. Well, thank you very much for being here today, Mike.
Thank you, Lizzie.
Lizzie Harrison with Mike Gracz for Card Player TV.